Hi guys, it's Jenny from Jennibellie Studio.blogspot.com. I have a flip for you of this journal that I finished this afternoon. I'd probably better explain why I've called it the Horrid journal. The reason is because when I first made the book, I didn't enjoy working in it, and I couldn't understand why. Because I bound it with the things that I like, with decorative papers, with watercolour papers, with vintage ephemera and general junk, all the stuff that I enjoy working on. So what I did to try and combat was just to use it to do quick 5-minute pages in there, and probably the longest page that's in here is about 10 minutes worth of work. And what I ended up doing was actually finding it really freeing, and I really enjoyed it, and I was actually quite sad when I finished the journal today. But by then the name The Horrid Journal had stuck, so that's what it is now. This video is probably going to be a two-parter because I did a practice run earlier and I ended up talking too long and it has a lot of pages. So what I will do is probably just skip some pages without explaining anything about them. Probably the main thing I'm going to talk about is just materials, because I think that's a nice thing when you share flips, is to see what other artists use as materials and to what effect. I'll probably also have some of the flips soon, because I work in a number of books at once. I tend to finish the books at the same time. So I'll show you my current journals. Excuse me, moving the tripod. So there's my current journals. This one only has a page left in it, so I'll probably do that flip next. This is my current journal in progress. Excuse me for making you sick. Moving it. Okay then. So it's just bound with elastic, and I'm pretty shocked actually that it's still in one piece, because it's had a lot of battering the last couple of months. One of my favourite materials is watercolour shimmery watercolours rather. When I want to just write and not do anything else, what I'll do is get a contrasting pen and put it on a pattern background, because then people are less likely to linger on the page. You can still read it for yourself, and others can obviously read it if they want to decipher my appalling handwriting, but they're less likely to spend time on the page. This is just a sketch on a old text page. Reminding myself that you shouldn't compare yourself. For very quick sketches, what I like to use is alcohol pens. That's just a sketch of a custom journal I did in October. Some old jewellery. Their earring. Watercolour. I did a speed process of that page. And watercolour pencil. This is a paper bead that I made and gave a metallic effect. Watercolour again. Charcoal. This page is an antique newspaper that I showed in the 10 ways to use ephemera in your art journals, or in your journals. If I relate any videos, I will put the video links in the description for you. These came from a piece of ephemera leaflet that I got when I signed up to some London library or other, and it's just got St Paul's, Millennium Bridge, Thames Clipper on it, and it's just personal to me. Here's a London Tube. It's just personal to me, really. This page started with this fortune cookie down here that says, when an obstacle comes in your way, stop crying and start trying. Sorry. And this page came about through that, because I was having difficulty finding the time to create, and I figured that you cannot find time anywhere. You have to create the time, you have to put it into your schedule, otherwise you're never going to be given extra time. So that's what this page is on, create creative time. And literally it took 2 minutes, because this is a sketch that I already had done in another book when I was in a waiting room or something. So it's just a kind of collage put together, just as a reminder. This is a little sketch that I did and put on these words from an old dictionary that says proud, womanly, wonderful, and this along here says curves. This is the other side of that antique newspaper, and these are just vintage maps that I've scrolled up. These were left over from some jewellery or other that I made with the scrolls, and I've used them as kind of like a doorknob to open that up. And that's just the materials that I used. Because this paper is extremely fragile because it's antique, I put this tape on it as kind of a reinforcer. This is my first ever attempt at machine stitching, and it's in here because it's appalling and it took a couple of minutes. But I am terrified of machines, so that's why that's in there. I'm getting better though, I'm getting better. This page was okay until I used Inktense blocks on the back. Now I love Derwent products, but I was a bit over enthusiastic there. This is one of the faces that I made using ink pads, and I did a video tutorial on how to make these faces, so I'll stick that in the description as well if you want to know. And then this is just stencil. Looks like spray paint stencil. This is somebody else's artwork that I've stuck in there. And then this one, I made her hair out of handmade paper that I sprayed metallic-y, or shimmery rather. I'm in love with Derwent pencils. I do love them, I've got to admit. If I want to use a wet media pencil, this is just water-soluble graphite, and all I do is I dunk the pen and then just mark it directly onto the page, and it gives this nice thick line. And then this and this is the metallic pencils that they do, and I really do love their pencils, I've got to admit. This is oil pastel, and I would honestly recommend, if you're going to use oil pastels, to buy a proper brand, because this is beautifully creamy. These are expensive. I think these cost about £30, these pastels, against these ones that are about £5, and it's like working in a completely different medium. This was hard, difficult to merge, they just broke off, just wasn't very nice, and these are just creamy and beautiful to work with. So if you're interested in oil pastels, I'd really recommend actually spending money on them. This is Prismacolor pencil, but if I'm going to use a pencil and not wet it, that's the pencil that I'll go to. These are just old art prints of some old artwork, some vintage ephemera, some card topper from something or other, and then I just did this textured background. Sequins.